different accents and roles played by different women in media, and these include media freedom, media plagiarism, media safety, and many others. Now, today's topic is the women in media. What roles do women play in media? Women in media are these women who have fully participation in media. Welcome to the show. This is Her Moments, and I'm your host today, Asha Kulsum. With me in studio is Rose Alibuma Wegoe, a media personality who has worked in media for about 18 years. Join me as we welcome her to the show. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Halima.
Asha.
Asha.
Yes, please. Good evening.
Good evening to you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Who is Rose?
Rose is a lady.
Yeah.
She has no media background in terms of professional learning from the university. I actually did political science at university, but research led me to media. I joined a company called Stedman as a junior, and I entered into what they call editorial monitoring. And currently I own a farm, a media monitoring farm.
What is a media monitoring farm?
Media monitoring farm is a company that is basically a watchdog on behalf of an advertiser or any kind of communicator. We're able to track what is happening in the media and deliver a report at the end of the day for our clients.
Wow, now before we go to that, before we can make the people feed the media farm,
yes,
we want to know who is Rose growing up to where she is, what school she has gone to, yes, is she a daughter of someone? I mean, we would love to know. Yes, tomorrow I would meet your papa and your mama and I'll be like, yes, I know your daughter. Exactly.
Rose is from a very, very humble background. My mother is a midwife.
Wow.
She works at Rubaga. I grew up with my aunties and judges because, you know, by that time nurses used to go to school, and when I was very little, I was handed over to my grandmother. I grew up in an environment of many children. I have siblings, other siblings from my father's side, and we're really neat, small family. I went to a school called Madera Girls in Soroti, really humble. I was in boarding school, I think, by P3, so I became very independent. I went to St. Joseph's in Zambia for S1 until senior 6. Although I tried to change at a certain time to go into a mixed school, I went to St. Joseph's Nagalama at some point, but I think I was bullied by the boys, so I went back to Zambia, St. Joseph's. I joined Makerere University. I think that's where I end, with Makerere University, with all the other certificates I earned.
What course did you do at
I did political science.
Political science?
Yes, with a bias in international relations.
Wow.
But I began working as a researcher for a small firm called Consumer Insight. They were looking for field researchers, so I joined Consumer Insight. It was a Kenyan firm, and was based at MCL Macan, which was at that time an advertising agency. So I joined research, and from there I joined the Stedman Group, which was very, very, very well known for media monitoring. It was actually the monopolist, the champion at the time in media monitoring and research. I stayed in that company for quite a long time.
What are those long years you're talking about?
There are so many years that I actually had a break of every 5 years that I would get 2 years off break and join another company. But what is amazing is that I started a department called editorial at that company, and it was so unique that you would wake up every day with the aim of delivering a media report to the client at 8 o'clock in the morning, and accuracy was the biggest thing that you had to make sure was done.
I understand.
It was mainly capturing PR. You listen to radio, watch the TV, read the newspapers, and then put out what is important to a specific client. Yeah. So the departments that were utilizing this and are still utilizing this is mainly the communication departments and PR. I will also know that there are individuals who are interested in this information, so there is market for that information. PR is hard to measure, and because you call the journalists, you can't justify certain budgets.
Exactly.
But if you know the volumes of communication that are coming in on a daily basis, then it becomes easy for you to justify the budget for PR. But also, we are going into a digital world where you can't control what people say.
What people say, what people
Exactly.
talk about. Yes.
So people need to know what is happening real time. Every day, every hour, someone needs to be able to tell that I have a responsibility either to respond to this communication or ignore it, or just archive it so that I'm able to. Exactly. Then I joined media in general, where we had to do advertising. We know even Record TV does advertising for your clients. Yeah. But how does the client know that my ad was run when they didn't actually watch? Because we know that we spend more time doing the work and less time on TV in the evenings, especially the working class, especially those who give us the work to deliver, are actually in office by 8 to 7. So they are watching news after 7, and maybe they booked across.
Time, yes.
And also they do multimedia. You have booked across all these media platforms.
To watch the different media platforms.
Exactly. You cannot watch radio, listen to radio, watch TV, be online, read the newspaper. At the same time, the time is limited.
And yet most cases, they usually have the exact time the different media houses are going to run your ad.
Exactly. So for us as a media watchdog at Sync Media, what we do, we sit down and make sure we collect all this information. We have a digital platform that will capture everything that is going on air, and it automatically sieves out what is being talked about, what is the ads that are running, and we're able to come up with a report real time. Right now, yes, it's accurate, but normally we give it 90% accuracy level because of the different languages. A digital platform may not actually, a software does not have that much intelligence until you tell it that this has not run, or this, please pick this. So what we do, we actually capture all this information and we can go back. We have a team that goes back through this information and make sure that it is delivered. So I was initiated into media. In 2007, I kind of left and joined New Vision.
Wow.
Worked for New Vision for about 5 years, still in research and media. My job was to do analysis.
But I really see your brains, because political science, international relations, needs a lot of research. That's why you're really in that line.
I really don't think so. I think what shapes us, our education normally does not shape what we do unless it's a professional job. For example, an engineer, electrical engineer, will remain in the electrical engineering field unless he has a marketing background. Or the need to do marketing. A surgeon will remain in that. But if you're doing art and social sciences, it is so broad, you can choose where to go. Yes.
It's open.
It's open. I could have chosen to join sales and marketing, which I do in my business, because you must do sales. It's part and parcel. But most of what I do on a daily basis is media analysis. What is happening on this channel? What is happening on this channel? How is the audience perceiving this channel? Are they actually watching? Do they feel this particular maybe personality on TV or on radio? What do they think about them? That is the job I do on a daily basis. And that is why companies hire me to do their consultants.
Simple question, when do you rest? Okay, what is your ideal day?
I have no ideal day. As an entrepreneur now, when I was working, I would leave 5 o'clock because, you're paid to be in the office 8 to 5. But again, there is that work that you have after 5. Even when I was working, I still carried my laptop with me to go and work. That has remained with me. Your client will not understand you have an 8 to 5 job. They want their work delivered. So I don't think I have a day when I rest. I'm either writing a proposal or I'm making a call.
These are the things you watch in the movies, or we see in different family affairs.
Yes.
Women or men who bring work. So you also carry your laptop home?
I do carry my laptop home. Why? I do have time for family, especially on Sunday, maybe Saturday afternoon.
So you close your laptop and put it
Yes,
inside.
if I'm not at home on Saturday, I'm normally not even at home on Saturday mornings. I'm in office. But Saturday afternoon and Sunday is dedicated to my family. There are days when you just say, I'm going to relax. Let me stay away from the office work. But balancing career, family, as a career woman is not easy. I'll tell you that it's not easy. You have to have a spouse who is very understanding.
Yeah, exactly.
Because sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm seated until maybe 3 or 4 o'clock trying to finish.
I really have a friend of mine who was literally telling me that I don't think I'm going to get married anytime soon because of media. I think I have to give myself like 8, 9 years. And I'm like,
No.
but you can manage.
Yes.
I mean, how do you manage that?
For me, I think it depends on the difference between the spouses.
Yes.
I have a very understanding spouse. Maybe another person will not understand. I know men who would just tell their spouses, if your job is interfering with my family, please stop working.
Yeah.
Mine will encourage you and even help you and tell you, okay, what is there that I should help you? The good thing about my husband is that he's an all-rounder. He's a marketing person, he's a researcher, he's a salesman. He understands the market. So he fits in so easily. And the fact that we are always open and discussing issues, it is easy for him to help. So I find myself inconveniencing him sometimes, but he's very understanding, so I can manage. I can't talk about the rest of the women in media, because media is very hectic. It requires you almost 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
You have to create your own time. You have to create your own time to rest. Yeah.
Now, very many people look at women in media and they be like, wow, I want to be like her, I want to do what she does. They do inspire a lot, but we really do not know what is behind. The struggles they have, the challenges they face. Maybe you being in that company and you guys make accountabilities, the numbers of everything that is going on. I mean, you must have a crew. You must be understanding what different women in media are facing, and probably you could share with us.
Women in media, I think, are the same as women in any other profession, with the exception of those who go to the field, the reporters, those who suffer like men, they get beaten, they get the tear gas, those are exceptional. Women who sit back in their desks and work and deliver to the world. For example, I've been delivering research reports on the media, and maybe that's where our challenges are. People believing that a woman can actually influence what happens in media is quite hard, especially when you look at the male-dominated entities. You come up with a report and someone's like, a woman? Will she even deliver? There is a time when I would go to boardrooms and I'm expecting, my stomach is just there, and people look at you and they even feel pity. They're like, wow, this woman. How is she? You start talking and you're first of all timid, maybe the first time. Then when you open up, everybody's like, okay. So actually she understands what she's saying. When you leave, you've left an impact. I've always told people that the first time you walk into a place, the first 5 minutes, people judge you as a woman. The way you dressed, the way you talk, what comes out of you. People don't, especially the men, don't think there is a lot of sense behind certain people. But the moment you walk with confidence and talk with authority on a subject like media, people really give you respect. I will tell you, I've been to most of the boardrooms in this country discussing media, presenting media insights, presenting media research information. And that has helped me build my confidence. So I can't be intimidated. I'm not. I know how to handle. I can walk in any conference room, I can talk at workshops, and I talk with authority.
With or without preparedness.
Exactly. I know the subject matter. I know the subject. I understand Ugandan media like the back of my hand. So it's something I breathe. It's something I do every day. And that has given me, I think it has built my confidence levels to decide and talk about things and challenge a few men.
So you still telling us about the challenges media people face, the women in media face, despite the male dominance, because we see men, sometimes they will think you can be a producer, you can be a cameraman, you can be this. You see, you go to a media house and because you're a woman, they'll give you lighter things.
Yes, because they think you can't carry. I was just telling you, I used to carry my laptop, and those days the laptops were really heavy.
These big ones.
Those big ones.
Okay.
And your stomach is there. And you're about 9 months or 8 months, and you know how heavy that is. And you're carrying your laptop, and you're carrying a projector. And those days the projectors were also huge. And you enter a boardroom, and you're carrying it yourself. I don't think women should be subjected to that pity, which makes them think they are of a weaker gender. Women can do anything if they put their minds to it. I can tell you, the women I have known in media are really strong women. If you read about people like Agi Konde and all these people, they are strong women. They're not the type you'll pull back.
Exactly.
So I think it is up to us, women, to put this. I don't think they are heavy challenges that men face, that women face differently in the media area. Maybe harassment.
That's what I was coming about.
I think there is a bit of harassment.
Because we have seen harassment from the start of media till to date.
Yes.
We cannot deny that we are not being harassed, or women are not being harassed. But then sometimes women, females in the media will sit back because they look at us as something maybe of sex object or something, or because when you do a little bit of research to these young females who are just going into media, they tell you their stories, and you really shed tears because they're suffering.
Yes, someone is soliciting for them to get a proper position. But again, I would think desperation sometimes leads us to that. I'll also say that if you don't draw the line between professionalism and your personal life, then you're going to have issues. I mean, we are women. Men will always throw words at us. We've seen this. I've seen it for over 20 years.
Thank you.
You enter somebody's office, you're requesting for an LPO, and someone is dilly-dallying, practically dilly-dallying, looking at you nicely and weighing whatever. I walked into an office at a certain time, and this guy looked at me and told me, by the way, you have nice legs. Now, I first froze because what I was going to say stopped.
I know.
You stop. You practically first stop, and you're like, okay, now what is next? Then you tell him, okay, hello, how are you? I'm called Rose, and yes, we had an appointment. I'm here to discuss media. And the guy goes on to talk other things. And you still continue and tell him, hey, I came to discuss media. Can we discuss this maybe coffee sometime? Then he says, okay, so we can make an appointment. And then now you have to pick the LPU at the coffee table. Now, if you don't draw the line between his need for media, and your need for the money, then you're going to get intertwined into a war with your own self. I believe that women can stand strong against male persuasion, male pushing, The young ones are desperate because they really need the job. And this happens all the time. I've worked in areas where men actually will tell you directly, you won't get this job unless you're with me. And these girls give in. And the next thing you know, the boss is sick, the girl is sick. It doesn't make sense. You'd rather walk away. That is a huge challenge, actually. I don't know how people manage it. However, I would also say sometimes we bring these things to ourselves. We use the media to sell ourselves. Now, you find a young lady who just takes popularity beyond limit. And she puts
Someone
herself...
who swears in the name of popularity.
Exactly. So you find this diva, she has put herself in a position, whatever you bring to her, she's going to handle. So the men look at you as a sex object. They'll continue treating you as a sex object. You dress up, you put on you in funny ways, they'll still treat you as a sex object. So I think we need to differentiate between our professional lives and our personal lives when it comes to media if we don't want to be harassed.
Yeah.
You just need to draw the line from the start. I'm here to do this. Beyond this, I won't do it. And there are people who have done it successfully and they are there. I'll give myself as an example.
Thank you.
I'll not take an LPO if it is in a hotel room. It's just not me. Okay, I'll show up with my husband. Then you will give me the LPO. What will you say? We'll tell him, you see, I had booked this for myself. Well, I'll show up with my husband. And then we sort it out. But again, one of the ways to stop this kind of thing, one thing I learned that was a softer way, was never to move alone. If I knew somebody was a bit fishy, I would make sure I move with somebody. You don't go alone. You're selling something, go with someone. It's hard for somebody to start talking to you about certain things if you are with someone else.
Yeah, because it's nature. It's nature. Usually men tend to dilly-dally.
Yes.
Sometimes it's not because they want to, because they're trying to see...
To gauge.
Exactly.
Yes.
So when you walk with your friend,
yes.
it will be difficult.
Yes, yes. And especially if he's male. I used to pick my juniors, let's go. I'm meeting so-and-so, let's go. And we go. You meet somebody and things move forward. I think that is one of the ways to manage that kind of pressure, especially in the sales department.
Because, sincerely speaking, the different people, females in media, who are really drawing about... They're putting a shadow onto the young generation, females who are coming from media. In that even our parents, some of our parents will be like, okay, you're going to work in a media house.
Please don't. Because you become a celebrity.
Exactly. This is going to happen in the papers. She was found in bed with this and this and that. So these people these females who are already in media, who are showing the bad side of the media is...
It's not a good thing. They are embarrassing the media fraternity, actually. But again, it goes back to character. How you raise your child, what values you instill in this child, and what they value thereafter you. Because it goes back to parenting sometimes. A child who is not well mentored will be scattered for the rest of their lives. Decision making becomes a problem. Even just saying no becomes a problem. So character also is very important. And in media you need it. But anyway, every woman needs character.
And good character.
And good character. So for me, I believe that every job, not just media, one has to have a strong character to be able to persevere as a woman. To be able to persevere and go through those years of work. I would also encourage women to actually go into their personal businesses. Media is very interesting. There's a lot of consultant work in media, and it's not taught in school. Most of what we've done, for example, myself, I've not been taught in school. I've been taught in the companies I've worked with. You have to learn. Learn and then go and implement. Don't last forever. Otherwise, you become obsolete. These girls who are celebrities here today, tomorrow you find her and she's 40 years old and she's all old and grumpy, and you're like, I am 50 years old and I look this. Exactly. So it's because they've been used, and the best way is make sure that you work with intention, with a purpose. Have values when you're working, and know that you have to learn. Once you've learned, go and implement. Start your own thing. I have the luxury to decide when to be in office and when not to be in office, because I have a family. Yeah. It was a bit hard to explain to your boss, you know what, my child is sick and I have to stay home for a whole week.
I know, yet there is work on your desk.
Exactly. So I believe entrepreneurship is something women need to go to. It's more independent, it's more satisfying.
And when you talk about entrepreneurship, you bring me back to the question that for the about 18, I think 20 years
yes.
in media, how have you managed? Because sometimes we look at media and we're like, for any female or male to be in media, they have a limited time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fact. They have a limited time. 1 to 3 years, you're off, you're off. There's some other generation.
Yes, coming up.
Exactly. How did you manage for all these years that I can't believe, and you still look this good, and I'm like,
my type of job has no age limit. I would tell you a presenter like you can only be on set and maybe until 50. But you'll still have to transit to something that's, yes, to different levels. A presenter on a music show will outgrow it. A presenter on a teens show will outgrow, and they have to place her in a certain level. But with my kind of work, when research, the more you grow, the more authoritative you become. Exactly. You've learned too much that you wake up and you're just a moving encyclopedia.
I love that.
So basically, it's about learning and inclining yourself in something that will last you longer in the media industry. I'll tell you, an editor will remain an editor for a very long time.
I've seen editors who have been editors for their whole life.
Exactly.
And you're like,
so that kind of job will keep you going. But if you're in the production, here behind the camera, you can't stand forever to do that job. Someone younger will come and just say, hey, go and sit on the production room and let me do this work.
And that's why you've been talking about entrepreneurship.
Yes. So find a niche and make sure you harness it and learn and make it long-lasting. Yeah.
So would you be in any position of maybe encouraging the young generation, the young females who are out there and they believe media is the way to go despite the circumstances,
yeah.
despite the difficulties, despite anything over time? What would you love to push to them?
For me, I believe media is the key to communicating. There is no way you can go to a village and get a mzindala and you think you'll finish everybody, you'll talk to everybody. If you want to reach a worldwide audience, you must use the media. I encourage as many people to get into media because it is the next big thing. With digital media, it's the next big thing. Digital marketing, digital sales.
That is the reason as to why when we talk about these young girls who are maybe anxious, they're really desperate to go into media
yes.
houses. I mean, there are these platforms you're talking about.
Yes. Go learn an online course. Learn how to do push marketing, push ads. Next, you have your own website. You're starting
your own channel.
Exactly, get your own channel. The jobs are not there, and that's why they're being bullied. The jobs are not many in media. They're just limited. So journalism is something really lovely. And it's of a few. I'm not really a journalist, so I wouldn't even talk about it. But if someone has a passion for journalism, they have a whole world open to them in terms of PR, communication. You can open up a communication company, a communication consultancy firm. You can be a PR for anybody or any organization in this country. So let them join communication. It's something good. Journalism is something that will open up your world.
And there is something that is fixing in my mind, and I really wanted to ask you about is you being the person who accesses different content.
Yes.
What happens in different media houses, I mean on different TVs. What do you call like communication? Because we have different ways of communicating. Someone might have a different show or a talk show or something, and they think they are communicating, but they are not communicating. What are the good communications? Like, what is that your ideal good communication that you look at and you're like, she's a communicator, or she is talking about something? And there are these things like, I will never even turn on my TV to ask.
I think one of the things that makes communication really value to the audience is the fact that you're talking about a subject you understand. Talk about something as an authority. Research about a subject matter. Don't come and just start talking about something that you don't understand, and everybody out there will start questioning, does she know what she's talking about? And especially women, they'll just say, look at these brainless women. What is she doing on TV? So when you are communicating, you as a presenter, make sure that you understand the subject matter. Talk about relevant issues concerning that subject matter. Research and ask people who understand the subject matter, because that is the most important. Then present it with a nice smile or whatever, or seriousness it deserves. If it's an easy subject, well, you have to smile. If it's a serious subject, well, you still have to smile, because somehow the person on the other side feels exactly what you feel when you're on set. I've always told media houses that I may be just listening, but I can feel the attitude, the condition you're in at that time on the other side. If you're talking and you laugh and it's sarcastic, I still would feel your sarcasm. If you're laughing and you're sad, I'll still make a call and ask, did you come to work today? Are you happy today? Or is there a problem? Because the audience on the other side feels exactly what you are feeling, despite the fact that you're putting up a show.
You put the mood into them.
Exactly. So the audience is actually feeling you in that state. So present the content that you're supposed to present with authority, with the attitude and love at that particular point in time. Otherwise, nobody will feel you. As a person, even when you're writing, you can tell that this story was sad. This person was happy.
Was in a different
exactly. State. It's not that. I think we are wired, maybe especially women, we are wired to know people's emotions. I find a young man walking on the street and you see, really, the guy has struggled, and you're like, okay, I can imagine that what this person is going through. And you may not stop them to ask them what is going on, but you feel their pity and you feel, their sadness, you feel it.
Well, I must admit that I'm really falling for you. Your words,
thank you.
These are really some things that some females or women out there in media have to take in. But let's go for a short commercial break. And when we return back, Rose here is going to be giving us more about talking to us more about self-esteem. Self-esteem is key with women in the media. How do you come to actualize, maybe really realize that maybe you are made for that, you're supposed to go for that? Or how do you draw confidence in yourself? It is called self-esteem and self-actualization. Let's go for a break, and when we return, our moment still continues.